Just 2 races left here at Larkhall, and it's the Senior Rotax Super Final that kicks it off. Kai Hunter and Sean Butcher, mano a mano on the front row of the grid. Philip Rawson and Lucas Ellingham on the second. Tristan Rennie versus Jack Lilly on the third. James Lowther and Stephen Letts, Pearson Bullock Carter and John Knox rounding out the top 10. Scott Mackerel and Lorenzo Cordell from George Hunter and Charlie Pritchard. Angus Scrivener and Oakley Pryor from Stephen Duncan and Thomas Wood. Then Aaron Mackay and Leo Purchase from Matthew Lambert and Andrew Hughes. Stephen Napier and Zaki Hussain. Benny Chilton and Jack Bate, along with Oliver Duffel, Gary Bird, and then Jay Pearson and Alex Moody sharing the 15th row of the grid in front of James Tester, Gavin DeWart, and then filling up the grid is Nathan Guzzi and Romarian Ubi. 34 drivers contesting around the West of Scotland Karting Club, just 12 miles away from the beautiful city of Glasgow in Scotland. But again, it's that miserable of conditions out there on the circuit. It is not bone dry, it is not soaking wet, it is somewhere in between. And the drivers have just got to take their best shot in this final and hope that they are going to have a solid race of it as they continue on. So, the battle is definitely going to be a tough one out there, but everybody is ready for a supremely competitive run here in the Senior Rotax final at Larkhall. So now the drivers are gearing up ready for the start, and it's going to be a very intriguing one with Kai Hunter on the inside line, Sean Butcher on the outside line. Time for these two powerhouses of Senior Rotax to go racing. Are we racing? We are indeed. Through they go. Sean Butcher down to third position. Kai Hunter has hit the front, and Sean Butcher's desperately trying not to lose too many places, but off the road goes Sean Butcher, I think that is. So the man from the front row of the grid has lost several places. Up to second has come Phil Rawson. Up to third has come Tristan Rennie, the hometown hero. So already some big scalps for Sean Butcher, the man who took such a brilliant victory last time out at Wilton Mill. He and his teammate Stephen Letts have already got massive progress to make up. So as the field works its way through, whoops, couple of drivers getting onto the grass. I think that was Lucas Ellingham getting a little bit wide. But now the drivers are tiptoeing their way through the hairpin. Everybody trying to stay out of trouble. And onto the grass goes the 70 of John Knox. So John Knox having a nightmare opening lap. That's really not helped him out at all. And several karts are trying to go 2-3 wide off the hairpins in the hope that they can knit their way through. But this is the worst possible racing condition for a driver. It's not bone dry, it's not soaking wet. And they are going to have absolutely zero grip out there on these wet tyres, because although there are patches of water on the circuit, there's certainly not enough water to go through the treads of the tyre. So this is really going to be tricky as you watch Butcher and Letts there in front of the 75 of Pearson Bullock Carter. Out in front is Kai Hunter. Philip Rawson and Tristan Rennie ahead of James Lowther, who had that disastrous end to his previous race in the superheat, dropping to the back of the field. But now Lowther finds himself in fourth position. Battles as they go down to the braking zone. Drivers waiting for the chance to go through. I thought we saw one of the KR Sport drivers going off the road, but they just got out wide. Whoops. Several drivers drifting wide as they go through the hairpins. And this is all because of the lack of grip on the circuit right now. It's not dry, it's not wet. So the tyre choice is open, so what do you do? Do you go slicks or do you go wets? It's very tough to know which is the right way to go, because the slicks won't grip in the early stages, but might grip at the end of the race, as we nearly see the 80 of Lambert going to the wall. But the wets won't grip either, and they'll certainly burn up in the first 4 or 5 laps because there's not enough water to go through the treads. So it'll be fascinating to see what the drivers have decided to go with and whether they can hold on for the entirety of the race. So it looks as though the majority of the field have gone on wet tyres because there's very little alternative. You can still see massive puddles of water on the circuit, but there's not going to be a massive amount of grip from the tyres, even if they are wet. Oh, big moment there. As up on the inside, Jack Lilly died for the move, couldn't slow the car down and speared into the side pod of Pearson Bullock Carter. And now Lucas Ellingham is going to drift up the inside of Lorenzo Cordell. Jack Lilly is going to be the one to pick up the pieces on Cordell. And there's more contact. 2 karts locked together there. That is devastating for Stephen Napier and Zaki Hussain. The 2 karts are locked together. They managed to come apart, but both races are pretty much done with 11 minutes to go. So Kai Hunter running in the lead of this race. Rawson and Rennie, second and third. Lowther in fourth from Letts, Butcher and Bullock Carter as Cordell tries again to get through on Jack Lilly. This is just on the outskirts of the top 10. There's Pearson Bullock Carter in front of Lucas Ellingham. They are 7th and 8th with Lilly, Cordell, Mackerel, Pritchard, Duncan, Scrivener and George Hunter giving chase behind them. So definitely a very solid situation. So a very tidy situation for all of the contenders as they continue to move their way through. But we're going to get to see some really intriguing situations for the contenders as they continue to battle forward. Now up the inside, Cordell still trying to get past Lilly. Lilly is not happy with that at all. Lorenzo Cordell gets through, 10 minutes on the clock. So Kai Hunter still leads the way here to Rawson. 1.8 seconds of deficit. Rennie in third, Lowther in fourth, then Letts, Butcher, Ellingham, Bullock, Carter, Cordell, Lilly and Mackerel. Ahead of Charlie Pritchard and Stephen Duncan. Here's Tristan Rennie trying to get his move on Philip Rawson. This is the duel for second place as Kai Hunter storms away up front. 1.8 seconds clear to really kick this championship fight into sharp focus. And there's the battle for fourth position behind Rawson and Rennie. What's happening behind Rawson and Rennie? Is Lowther holding on in front of Stephen Letts, or has Letts gone through? Letts and Butcher are trying to get through past Lowther. Letts has made it, Butcher has not. So the battle for the title really kicking off now because Kai Hunter looks like he's got a win on his pocket. And Butcher, the man who won last time out, finds himself in 6th position. So still they duel away. Butcher has now got past Lowther, up into 5th position, trying to chase after his teammate Stephen Letts. So Tristan Rennie still attacking Phil Rawson. Look at the sliding that these karts are giving us as they work their way through. Kai Hunter still your leader and sets a new fastest lap, but Lucas Ellingham goes quicker still. Stephen Letts head down, trying to make his bid ahead of Sean Butcher, James Lowther and Lucas Ellingham. Ellingham has left Bullock Carter to battle with Lorenzo Cordell. Cordell at the inside, gets in at 8th place. Bullock Carter on the resurgence, manages to get through, and that's Ellingham diving in on Lowther. So Ellingham gets the overtake and Cordell gets the move on Bullock Carter further back. Still great overtakes everywhere you look, and now Cordell drifts off the road, so does Lilly. And as they both drift out a little wide, Bullock Carter might get up the inside of Lorenzo Cordell. He can't quite overtake Lilly, but he does get past Lorenzo Cordell. Great racing here at Larkhall, everywhere you look. Off the turn comes Lilly, still ahead of Pearson Bullock Carter. And then you've got Lorenzo Cordell and Charlie Pritchard. Just on the outside of the top 10, Duncan, Scrivener, Mackerel, Duffel, Hunter, Hughes and Lambert, with Oakley Pryor down to 19th. And Thomas Wood out of the race with Jack Bate by the look of it. And they're certainly a long way down if they're not out of the race, because they've lost a lot of time over the course of the race. They have continued 20th and 21st for those two. Tippy-toeing the way over the curves. Lorenzo Cordell tries again. Cordell having a look at Pearson Bullock Carter and dives in the hairpin, makes the overtake. Meanwhile, further back, there's a little bit of wheel banging going on as Scrivener goes toe-to-toe with Stephen Duncan. Duncan's going to have the inside line, ties it up in the exit. He needs to tidy it up on the exit a little bit cleaner than that, as drifting off the road nearly further back. That looked to me like Oakley Pryor, just getting a little bit sideways. So 7 minutes still remaining in this final, and the number 2, Lorenzo Cordell, has been given the warning flag for contact, while Kai Hunter continues out in the lead, setting fastest lap after fastest lap and going full guns blazing. Hopping and skipping over the curbs, that is the 41 of Angus Scrivener, now 13th. Trying to chase after Duncan and Pritchard in front of him in the hope that he can make the top 10 before this race is finished. So Kai Hunter, 2.8 seconds ahead of Phil Rawson and Tristan Rennie, who are still dueling over second place. A little bit of a look up the inside there, as the 36 of Oakley Pryor is trying to pick off some drivers and make some overtaking prowess. There's Lowther in 7th place ahead of Jack Lilly, then Cordell, Bullock Carter, Pritchard, Duncan and Scrivener. Several great talents in this race, still trying to make up some moves. It looks as though Sean Butcher has got past Stephen Letts. What's happened to Letts? Letts has not come through. Where is Stephen Letts? The 259 has not come across the line. So I think Stephen Letts, he has come across the line, but he's down to 16th. So Stephen Letts has lost a massive amount of time at a huge quantity of places. There is Stephen Letts, I think, behind the 23 of George Hunter and also behind Oliver Duffel. If we look back, we'll see Stephen Letts trying to get away from Oakley Pryor. But that has really caused a major problem for Stephen Letts' title bid. And that's Rennie in front of Rawson. Tristan Rennie has got past Philip Rawson. The Scottish driver now in second. Oh, that's a late bid there from Duncan to get through on the 26 of Charlie Pritchard. Angus Scrivener can't return the favour. Lots of drivers skating around the course, and this is what we're talking about. Not a lot of standing water on the circuit means that you are wrestling with baking hot tyres that cannot get cool. They cannot get down to temperature. And because there's no water going through the treads, you're essentially driving on ice skates the whole way round. So Hunter, 3.4 seconds now in front of Tristan Rennie, with Rawson in third from Ellingham, Butcher, Lowther, Lilly, Cordell, Bullock Carter and Stephen Duncan as we watch Scott Mackerel. And there is Stephen Letts going wheel to wheel with Oliver Duffel. And Letts is going to get back through to get into 15th place. Very unfortunate for Stephen Letts. He made the podium last time. He was looking good for a top 5 this time, but now he has plummeted all the way to 15th. 4.5 minutes on the clock. Hunter from Rennie, Rawson and Ellingham. Looks like it's going to be a very different podium to what we saw last time out. But Sean Butcher will still be there in the top 5 to keep his title aspirations on track. He may not get the win this time. He may not even get the podium this time, but the top 5 will definitely help with his championship points. So Kai Hunter has 4 seconds now on Tristan Rennie, who has finally pulled a second clear of Rawson. Goodness me, bunny hopping over the curbs again there, Tristan Rennie, as he now holds second and is looking to get well clear of Philip Rawson. So some great battles as they continue, but still a very tough race in the offing. Tristan Rennie continues to lead this run ahead of Phil Rawson. Ellingham is next. Sean Butcher in 5th. Lowther, then Lilly, Cordell, Bullock Carter and Stephen Duncan ahead of Charlie Pritchard and Angus Scrivener. Hunter is 13th from Mackerel, Letts, Pryor, Duffel, Hughes, Lambert and Thomas Wood. Of the 34 drivers that started the race, despite the contact we saw earlier on between Stephen Napier and Zaki Hussain, everybody is still running this race. Determination from the senior Rotax brigade. But look, there's no spray coming off the carts at all. Whoops! As off the road goes one of the Coles racing carts. Now that didn't go very well at all. I think that might have been Oakley Pryor drifting off the road there. I could be wrong. Thomas Wood still dueling away as the drivers are squabbling away for position. But coming down to the braking zone, Cordell is all over the back of Pearson Bullock Carter, trying to get past the Jax Motorsport driver, number 75, who is driving a very valiant race here in 8th position. Lorenzo Cordell running in 9th and Stephen Duncan running in 10th. But Lucas Ellingham having a solid race in 4th position ahead of Sean Butcher, and then James Lowther in front of Jack Lilly. There's Pearson Bullock Carter, very close there indeed there to running off the road and bidding it into the barriers. So Pearson Bullock Carter just giving it one final push to get away from Lorenzo Cordell as they run through on the far side. And you can see there that Charlie Pritchard is all over the back of Stephen Duncan trying to get through. Letts ahead of Pryor, Duffel, Wood and Lambert. Whoa! That was Lambert just chopping across on John Knox, I think, as they were dueling away for position. But out in front, it is still Kai Hunter lapping fastest lap after fastest lap after fastest lap, having a really solid race of it. There's Ellingham, there is Sean Butcher, the championship leader, and then there is the 74 of Lowther, who now has pressure from Jack Lilly. So Lowther trying to hold on in front of Lilly. Lilly's got a good run though. James Lowther has got to be very patient, holding on to 6th position here, and there's the move from Lilly. Dives in on Lowther. Not a lot that James Lowther can do about it. Jack Lilly has caught and passed him, and that is the move for P6. Lowther can try again, but I think the tyres are really starting to go off. This all comes down essentially now to tyre pressures, but it has started raining again. I can see that the rain has started to come down again. The problem is now you've got wet tyres that have been out there for a heck of a long time with no water running through the treads. They're almost burned off, and now it's started raining again. So effectively you're running on slicks now. There are going to be a few drivers that will gain some grip, but not many. This is all going to be about dancing in the rain on the final couple of laps as the track gets slipperier, and these burning hot wets are not going to get a decent amount of water running through the treads. But it might shape things up for the Junior Rotax Super Final later. So Kai Hunter, 5.2 seconds clear of Rennie and Rawson. Ellingham in fourth from Butcher and Lilly. There is Lilly ahead of James Lowther. So James Lowther is going to try again. He tries a late bid on the inside of Jack Lilly and gets the overtake. Lovely job from James Lowther. Read the situation at the very last minute. He skates off the road. James Lowther skates off the road. Now that's going to be down to the lack of grip in these final couple of corners with the rain coming back. Lowther manages to get back through on Jack Lilly. There's no grip at all in the circuit. And off the road again, we've got several drivers coming up. That's why they're on wet tyres, but they are burnt wets, because they are super hot wet tyres. There's no tread in them left, and now we're on wet tyres. These are basically ice skates they're on now. Lilly trying to get back on the inside of Lowther. Lowther shutting the door. The rain is coming back heavily, but these wet tyres are not going to have any grip because they are almost burnt to intermediates. In some cases, they'll be burnt to slicks. The slippery flag is out on the circuit because there is absolutely no grip at all for any driver out there. Jack Lilly going wheel to wheel with James Lowther again. And still James Lowther hanging on by a thread in front of Jack Lilly, with Bullock, Carter, Caudle and Stephen Duncan closing in. And off the road again goes James Lowther. This time Jack Lilly does get the overtake. There's absolutely no grip at all as we go into the final lap. And there's a warning gone out for contact for the 88 kart. That, I'm afraid, is a bit of a headache for Alex Moody. It was his birthday yesterday. He'll probably want to forget this race weekend, though. So, around the hairpin, Lowther tries again on Jack Lilly, but out in front it is going to be Kai Hunter, who tiptoes his way to the victory. There he is. And Kai Hunter has reignited the title battle in Senior Rotax in Pass Me Fast Ultimate Karting Championship 2023 with a very smooth drive indeed. He can barely keep the kart on the road, but it's been a superb run for the Dan Holland Racing Lando Norris. Kai Hunter reignites his title battle in 2023 with a perfect victory in front of Tristan Rennie and Philip Rawson. Great racing. Kai Hunter gets the job done. Rennie in second from Rawson and Ellingham. Butcher in the top five. A very good run from the man who won at Wilton Mill. Sixth place for Jack Lilly in front of James Lowther, Pearson Bullock Carter, Lorenzo Caudle and Stephen Duncan, as Pritchard and Scrivener get themselves into an incident in the final lap of the race. But what a crazy end to the race as the rain comes down with everybody on really used wet tyres.